What's the worst thing your parents ever made you do without telling you what you were really doing? Every Christmas Eve from the time I was 5 years old, my family would pile into our minivan and drive 30 minutes to a wealthy neighborhood where we'd spend hours singing carols and matching red sweaters. My older brother always walked 20 feet behind us because he said he was too cool to sing but still wanted to be there, and I thought that was sweet. I went to bed every Christmas Eve feeling like our family was something special. The year I turned 16, I started noticing things that didn't add up. We'd finish a song and my mom would glance down the street and ask, "Did anyone see if that colonial on the corner had cars in the driveway?" And I'd think nothing of it until I realized she only ever asked about houses where nobody answered the door. My dad was obsessive about our route, and the one year I suggested trying a different street, he snapped, "We're not changing anything, this works." With so much venom, my mom had to squeeze his arm to calm him down. My brother had upgraded from just hanging back to constantly typing on his phone, and when I walked up behind him to see what he was doing, he shoved me into a snowbank and hissed, "Mind your business if you know what's good for you." That night after we got home, I snuck into his room while he was in the shower and found a burner phone hidden under a false bottom in his sock drawer, plus a stack of cash in an envelope marked December that had to be at least $5,000. My hands were shaking when I put everything back exactly how I found it. The next morning, I overheard my dad on a phone call saying, "The family confirmed they'll be at the party from 7 to 9, it's on the list." And when he saw me in the doorway, his face went pale and he hung up without saying goodbye. I spent the rest of the year watching and waiting, catching little moments that confirmed what I didn't want to believe. By the time the next Christmas Eve came around, I had a sick feeling I knew exactly what my family was doing. I told everyone I felt too sick to go caroling, and my mom's reaction confirmed everything. Her eyes went wide with panic instead of concern, and she gripped my shoulders hard enough to leave marks. "You have to come," she said, her voice shaking. "We can't do this without the whole family there. It doesn't work without you." I went because I needed proof, and I watched my brother the entire night instead of singing. When he typed an address into his phone and made a call that lasted exactly 8 seconds before hanging up without saying a single word, I knew I wasn't crazy, and I felt like I was going to be sick right there on someone's front lawn. I confronted my parents that night while my brother was in his room. "I know what you're doing," I said, and my dad immediately crossed his arms and said, "You're being dramatic. You're imagining things because you're a teenager, and teenagers are paranoid about everything." But when I told them about the burner phone and the cash and the phone call I'd overheard, my mom's face crumbled and she whispered, "Oh God, how much does she know?" My dad went quiet and just stared at me, and I said, "Tell me the truth," with my voice cracking because part of me was still hoping there was some innocent explanation. My mom took a shaky breath and said, "We never wanted you to find out, sweetheart, because you were our cover." She said it like she was telling me about her day at work. "Your dad has been working with a crew for a long time now, and your brother tells them which houses are empty. The families we sing to aren't the targets, that would be too obvious. But when there's a nice family caroling in the neighborhood, everyone relaxes. They go to their parties and leave their houses empty because the streets feel safe with all those cheerful voices outside." She told me that every Christmas Eve of my childhood, while I stood there singing about peace on earth in my little red sweater, a crew was hitting houses 3 streets over based on the addresses my brother sent them. I just stood there feeling like the floor had dropped out from under me because everything I thought I knew about my family was a lie. I asked her how she could do that to me, use me like a prop my entire life, and she looked at me like I was being ungrateful. "You were perfect," my mom said, and she actually smiled. The best part of the whole operation, honestly. Nobody suspects a family with little kids holding candles and singing about Jesus. I moved out 3 months later, and I haven't spoken to any of them since, and sometimes I hear Christmas carols in a store and have to leave because the sound of silent night makes me physically sick.